Hi everybody, in this video we're going to have a look at separable phrasal verbs. Remember, phrasal verbs are verbs plus a particle. For example, go back, turn off, look forward to, or get along with. And you can see some phrasal verbs have only got one particle, and that could be an adverb or a preposition. And some phrasal verbs have two particles. Now, we can also put phrasal verbs into two groups. Some phrasal verbs do not need an object. For example, go back. There's no need for a direct object. However, many phrasal verbs need a direct object. For example, turn off something, look forward to something, and get along with someone. Those phrasal verbs all need an object. Now, these two groups are called intransitive verbs. So those are verbs with no direct object, like go back, and transitive phrasal verbs. And those verbs need a direct object. You cannot use those without a direct object. The good news is that the intransitive phrasal verbs are really easy to learn because there's never a question about the word order. So I put a smiley here because those are good news. They're easy. There's no real problem with those verbs. However, transitive phrasal verbs are a little bit more complicated because of the word order. The question is, where do we put this direct object? Let's have a look at some examples. Bea turned off the TV. Here we have the phrasal verb turn off. The TV is the direct object. And a second example, Bea is looking forward to her holidays. Look forward to is the phrasal verb, and her holidays the direct object. So in our examples here, the direct objects come after the phrasal verbs. However, in the first example, we could also put the direct object in the middle, and the sentence would still be correct. Bea turned off the TV is correct, and also Bea turned the TV off. Both sentences are correct in English. What about our second example? Bea is looking forward to her holidays. This is correct. But Bea is looking her holidays forward to. No, this is not correct. We cannot separate looking from the two particles forward to and place the direct object in the middle. This is not possible and it's incorrect. Let's have a look at one more example, because some of you might think, well, look forward to. If they're two particles, of course we would not separate. What about a phrasal verb with look and just one particle? Well, here's an example. Bea looks after her cats. This is correct English. But Bea looks her cats after. No, this is not correct English. We cannot separate looks from after. This is an example of an inseparable phrasal verb. So turn off the TV, turn the TV off. Yes, both is fine. This phrasal verb can be separated, and so we call it a separable phrasal verb. However, look after is inseparable. We cannot separate verb from the particle. Now, inseparable phrasal verbs are also easy because they always go together, and that means the object always comes last. You can never put it in between the verb and the particle. In this video, we want to have a look though at separable phrasal verbs, because here we have the option and there's something important that we have not discussed yet. Let's have a look at our example again to discuss the word order. I told you already, Bea turned off the TV is correct. And also, number 2, Bea turned the TV off. Now, the TV, our direct object, could be replaced by the object it. This is a pronoun, and we could just say it instead of the TV. Let's have a look what the sentence sounds like if we replace the TV with it. Number 1, Bea turned off it. No, this is not correct English. But number 2, Bea turned it off. Yes, this is correct. So there is a difference here. If the indirect object is a pronoun, we suddenly have a different rule. So what is the rule? Number 1, when the direct object is a full noun, it can go in between verb and particle or after the particle. But rule number 2, when the direct object is a pronoun, it must go in between. It is not correct to put it after the particle. And to remind you, an object pronoun in English, that could be me, you, him, her, it, us, or them. Let's look at some more examples. The phrasal verb to give something up. This means to stop something. And remember, give is irregular. To give, gave, given. Here's an example sentence. Bea gave up her hobbies when she started university. We could also say Bea gave her hobbies up when she started university. Her hobbies is the indirect object. It could go after gave up or in between gave and up. Now what happens when we change her hobbies for the object pronoun them? The sentence is, Bea gave them up when she started university. And her hobbies has been exchanged for them. So the first 3 sentences are all correct. But number 4, Bea gave up them when she started university. No, this is incorrect. Let's look at one more example. Turn someone down. This means not to accept someone. For example, I applied at the company, but they turned down my application. I could also say in number 2, I applied at the company, but they turned my application down. The direct object could be between the verb and the particle. Now, if I change my application for me, I know my application is not the same as me as a person, but we could say this colloquially. The sentence is in number 3, I applied at the company, but they turned me down. All 3 sentences are correct. how do I know which phrasal verbs are separable and which ones aren't? This is a good question, and you probably asked yourself this question. Unfortunately, there is no rule. You have to memorize it. You have to memorize which ones have an object, and then of the ones that do have an object, which ones are separable and which ones are inseparable. This is a lot of memorization, so I have a tip for you. My tip: learn meaning and form together. What do I mean? I mean, for example, if you come across this word, turn someone down, learn it like this: to turn someone down. And also the meaning, not to accept someone, instead of just learning to turn down. Because then you only learn the meaning, but you do not know the grammatical form. If you learn it like this, to turn someone down, you know this phrasal verb needs an object, and the object goes in between, and this phrasal verb is separable. This makes it much easier for you, because you don't just know the meaning, but you also know how to use the verb grammatically. What are some common separable phrasal verbs? Here are just a few. Take something back, give something up, check something out, pick something up, turn something off, look something up, bring someone up. There are many more separable phrasal verbs. These are just a few. So my tip is, make sure every time you find a new phrasal verb in a text, write it down, look it up in a dictionary so you know if it is separable or not, and then learn it as a chunk with the form and the meaning. Now remember, connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube at the.billieenglish, and I release new videos every week. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below.